Hello everyone and welcome back to All the Crazy Things, my stock science exploration in Kerbal Space Program 1.12. We are here with Spaceship 2 around Tylo, and I've decided that it would be better for us to do stuff around Val potentially, so we're going to relocate, but of course this requires extra fuel. It's pretty low on fuel right now, and also we have to do something about the lander, which is currently on this port down here, and that's imbalanced. Possibly the engines could deal with that, but probably we don't want to mess with that. And it's imbalanced because we had a large docking port on the front, but only put a regular docking port on the lander. The first iteration of the lander, the one that stranded on the surface, actually had the large one on top. But of course I didn't want to mess with that again. We wanted to have a trim lander that would have as much delta V as possible, and boy did we need it. So anyway, we need to refuel this and we need to get the lander to something else. Fortunately we have two tankers. We have Tender 3 and Tender 2, so I'm going to bring Tender 2 in to refuel our spaceship, and then we are going to bring Tender 3 in to pick up the lander. Let me just double check that Tender 3 can actually do that. Yes, Tender 3 has this docking port, so the spaceship can dock to it, and then this can boost it over to Val, and potentially refuel it as well. So that's no problem, but first let's deal with Tender 2. It's gonna be fun docking this big thing to Spaceship 2 though. Alright, that's probably good enough, just phase with it. Well, I don't see the encounter there. Okay, that'll be fine. Hopefully we can bring a decent amount of fuel to it. Oh, the RCS is a bit rough. Okay, whoop. Let's use this. Might have been a little bit late. Let's see. Yeah, definitely late. Well, we'll have to meet up with it again over here. There it is. Trying to get myself lined up here. Really don't want to get any closer to it right now. We have to go over to the other side. Okay, finer adjustments to our orientation. Up and getting into the dark here. How much magnetism can I rely on? Well, not that much. Well, off. Let me just let the magnetism do its thing, maybe. We'll figure it out, right? It's working it. Well, I think a little bit of forward impulse might not be a bad idea. There we go. Alright, well, there we have it. Tender 2 has finally met up with our spaceship. Interesting, the dialogue shoved the transfers at the bottom this time. Well, we have a lot more fuel capacity than this can actually top off. But it'll be enough to go to Val. Trying to figure out where I put the other monopropellant tanks. We've got the ones on the escape pods. They've been somewhat consumed, but not that much. The one on the cupola is full. This one's full. Probably ought to have been more monopropellant tanks on the spaceship. It did have pretty copious reaction wheel power. No, I guess it is full up on monopropellant. But then we seem to have some missing somewhere. Maybe it's just on the tender. For now, I'll leave the tender in orbit around Tylo. Still got mop propellant. I'm not too sure. Oh, and some liquid fuel and oxidizer somewhere. Oh, I left some there. No, I don't want to leave any. I don't know if that's far away enough to reset the ports. Well, apparently yes. Okay. But we can use Tender 3 to top off the spaceship and also bring the lander over to Val, I think. I think you can do all that. Still a little bit left in here, but that's okay. Now, mostly topped off on my propellant here, except for the escape pods. Okay, well, yeah, let's get the other tender over, refuel some, and grab the lander. Let's make sure that the lander doesn't have occupants right now. Well, I mean, maybe we should just leave them with the lander, I don't know. But it's probably, strictly speaking, better to put them in the spaceship. Roomier. Right, so another tender, same thing. There's nothing especially different about it. Well, let me grab the ascending node over there first and correct the inclination and then do what I need to do. Okay, we have an encounter, 1.3 kilometers, and this burn will take 555. Well, recording cut out because of disk space, unfortunately, but you didn't miss much. It was just because I hadn't deleted some video files that I had already dealt with. So anyway, I did the burn to bring the orbit down, and now we have an encounter, but of course we don't have comms. Burn just barely managed to be within comms. So a little bit risky, but it's okay. We now have our encounter. And I'll try to do the burn when it's not too late. The other tender is right there still. Okay, but now we're getting into where comms are gonna be a problem. Well, I'm gonna reduce relative velocity as much as possible, but we're not gonna be able to approach. Okay, well, we have an encounter over there after an orbit. So I'll just have to take that, because otherwise we're already seeing our comm line go through the planet. That's not right. But anyway, yeah, waiting in orbit. Okay, we're coming really fast. Turn. I mean, of course I didn't aim directly at it, but still. No, that's a bunch of worlds right there. Now there is also the other drilling lander. The new improved drilling lander. Sort of wasted on Val though. I think this little lander can handle Val, but it doesn't have any science on it. So it'll just be Kerbal's surface samples and EVA reports. Then again, if we look inside the spaceship, I think we already have plenty of science. Yeah, we have all the science we need to transmit that stuff. And we're already getting 52 science per day, and we're pretty much full up on data, almost full on data, so it's not like we need more science. We're just going there for funsies or to establish ourselves. Well, we're currently communicating through Tylo Lander 3 or that tender up there. They're relaying us. Oh, I can't see the solar panels, I just realized that. There are solar panels there, but I am not seeing them right. Okay, we have connected directly. No magnetism funniness or anything like that. Aside from these nose cone tanks. Oh, there's that tank too. Lots of tanks. All the really big tanks are full. Okay. And just as daylight appears, it looks like Spaceship 2 is fully fueled. I'm also gonna top off the lander. But let's assess this lander versus Tylo Lander 3. Which do we really want to bring over? Tylo Lander 3 still has this stage here. Still could land on Tylo, and it's got 2 Wolfhounds and the big drilling units. I still think it should be left here for Tylo. We won't deal with it yet, but it is definitely a Tylo unit. Should we dump a Kerbal inside for the efficiency? Guess so, but then we have to do a rendezvous. I don't want to have to bring a separate Kerbal, so we should do that now. It's gonna have to get into a low orbit before landing anyway. So we'll try to rendezvous it with Spaceship 2 as well to pick up a Kerbal, and that Kerbal will stay with it for another Tylo landing. Is it safe? I mean, that's a good question. We'll of course need an engineer in this. Well, that's not a lot of RCS. This should have more RCS on it. Okay, well, there's a rendezvous, but I'm just gonna have the Kerbal EVA pack over instead of trying to dock anything this time. Especially since this doesn't have that much mod propellant considering its size. Okay, ignition. This could be a death trap too, though. This is definitely not guaranteed to be a great lander of any kind. But we'll try it. Has took the trouble to send it over, we ought to try it. But not this time. But then, does it make sense not to do it this time? Maybe we should do it this time. Alright, we're not moving on to Val just yet. We have to try this. I don't want to land on Tylo again, but we've got this thing. Okay, there's our encounter. We still need to match velocities. Alright, good enough. Let's get over here. Scientist, Val. Franming. Should we make Franming do it again? I don't think we have any choice. I think Franming is our only engineer here. Okay, Franming. We're gonna strand Franming on the surface again. Okay. It is Franming's fate. Now, once Franming gets in, Franming really can't get out. Or at least it didn't seem that way. Yeah, I mean, we could send it to the surface without a Kerbal, but its efficiency will be low. So it's better to send a Kerbal. Could be bad, though. Let's find out. This crater over here looks good. Should be in calm and everything. I'll save beforehand again, though. And this complicated landing. Framing Redux. We have to reorient before continuing the burn, so we have to allow some time for that. Oh, but Framing doesn't have the ability to hold maneuver node. That's annoying. Maybe we should just dump this stage. After all, we were trying to see whether this lander can do the whole thing on its own, so... Okay, and control from here. At least it's got a good reaction wheel, but it might need it. 3,376. Thrust weight ratio 1.79 at least. We should do a descent initialization burn here. I should have just done that for the state, but again, testing whether this is a proper lander, it should be able to do it. This is just for the start burn timer. This won't require much pitch up, or any pitch up. Hopefully. We should go closer to the surface, but there's the crater. Don't know what that purple spot there is. Can it all be purple? Or maybe this isn't the crater. I don't know. I think it is the crater. Why isn't it all purple? Anyway, we gotta go. If this goes badly, I might set it up a little bit tighter to the surface. So far, it's just been directly retrograde, though. But yeah... we're coasting. You never want to coast around here. Okay, pretty sure this is it. It's a little bit wiggly. I mean, of course, the balance is tenuous. Because of the way it's laid out. Ah, it's wandering. Oh, a little bit hard, but okay. We made it! Alright, well, that's job one. Let's see if we get net juice from the fuel cells. I don't know, not quite, but it's changing as we go along. It might be just like the solar panels managing it, I don't know. It looks like we're okay. We're replenishing electric charge, liquid fuel, and oxidizer right now. But I don't think we can do it. I mean, without the solar panels, will it work? Can we do it at nighttime or not? Well, more than halfway right there, and we haven't gotten to night. So it can replenish pretty quickly. Okay, stop. Stop. We don't need the surplus ore. Those things are flashing. Okay, all the fuel cells have been stopped. Seems like we're topped off. Let's just demonstrate that this can get back to orbit, which it should easily be able to do. And then we'll have a successful self-replenishing Tylo lander, a reusable Tylo lander. But it can't actually let the Kerbal get outside. But I mean, in principle, we'll deal with that later. We can improve upon this, but at least this has been demonstrated. Okay, but it probably requires the Kerbal to be in there for efficiency's sake. We can't just make it automated. And of course, if we want to use it to refuel things, but why would we refuel things using ore on Tylo? But yeah, we'd have to scale it up for it to be a refueler, which we won't. I mean, we just won't be using it to refuel other things in orbit. That we'll do around Val, which we will demonstrate next time, it looks like. But let's have the victory lap. Let's get Framing back to orbit, finally, with a successful reusable Tylo lander. Oop, not that. Right there would be a good inclination. If it's 2 wolfhounds, this is very powerful. Ascent from Tylo is pretty darn smooth. Okay, completing orbit here. Now 1 degree off somehow. Okay, for now that will do. the ore display off. Alright. Ramming's in orbit. I'll decide what to do with the situation next time. Maybe we should just leave Ramming here. I don't know, but it seems like it would be necessary to bring Ramming over to Val. Do we need to? We need at least one drilling unit at Val, right? This is complicated. I'll think about what to do next time. Maybe we need to send a special Val lander, actually. We've got a lander that can land on Val. We've got that over on the Spaceship 2. But that doesn't have the ability to replenish any fuel or anything. And if we really want to use Val to mine for ore to replenish Spaceship 2, we pretty much need to send something completely different over. A much larger ISRU unit. A much larger ISRU unit. So I'll have to think about that. For now, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do press like. If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below. And I'll see you next time.